I was going to show you guys this real quick. So I've been putting the countertop on this last counter here, and it was kind of funny because I usually use like these little, we call them 1x1s. I think they're technically like 1.5, but we usually use these 1x1s we did over there to kind of do the, what would you call that ring? Just the edge to make it look thicker, yeah. Basically. I had to double this up to get this to the size of this. So I ran out of 1x1s, and then I was thinking, well, I really don't want to go to Lowe's. And then I had an epiphany. The countertop that we reused actually has a curved edge on it. And I was like, you know what? I'd like to have this match it. So then I had the bright idea of taking quarter round, and I'm going to attach it in this shape. And it actually gives me the same rounded, it will have the same rounded edge over here. Yeah. I mean, it's practically the same size and everything.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Mobile Mansion Makeover. So a couple of days ago, Shane put together this nifty little countertop for me and made this little quarter round like edging on it, which is super cute. Today, I'm going to be cleaning off the counters and prepping the counters to get a makeover. What I'm about to do is going to cause a major mess, so I've got to get everything up and out of the way, and I've also got to make sure that the countertops are completely sanitary because I'm building on top of these, not necessarily building them, but painting on top of them, and I don't want anything trapped under that paint, so I'm using antibacterial method spray to give these a really good scrubbing. The last thing I want to do is trap a germ under there, and then they just have a party, and then I've just got a whole coat of paint and epoxy on top of a germ party. We don't want that. So I'm going to scrub them really, really good to make sure there is nothing on these countertops that could cause me a problem. Look at this cute heart my kiddo made me. I love it. I'm full of good ideas and I'm full of bad ideas. I just never really know what the idea is going to end up being, whether good or bad. So while it was a good idea for me to wash these down with antibacterial spray, it was a bad idea not to sand these. I learned the hard way that whenever you're working with laminate, you want to give it a sanding just to rough it up a little bit so that the paint will adhere to it. And I knew that somewhere deep in the back of my mind. I just had forgotten about it. So while I'm doing a good thing here, I'm getting it all clean. And it's like, yeah, Marina's on her game. Heck yes. I'm not on my game here in a minute because I forget to sand the countertop. And actually with this project, I'm forgetting a lot of stuff. One thing I'm not forgetting is the painter's tape and the plastic I'm going to use to seal off my sink and my cabinets. I love my sink. It's Mr. Theo. It's called the Theo from Lowe's by, I think, like, well, I forget who it is. It's somebody, Allen and Roth, Roth and Allen. Allen Roth, Allen. Jeffrey and Roth, something. It's by Allen and Roth, I think. And its name is Theo. And I love Mr. Theo. He's my favorite sink I've ever had in my whole entire life. Like, as a child, too. I never just really paid attention to my sinks. But I can about guarantee you I didn't like any of my sinks in my houses more than I like Mr. Theo. I'm always gasping for air on here because I'm either A, laying on my belly doing a voiceover and crushing my lungs, or B, I'm using my voice until it runs out of gas. Like, I always, like, talk until, like, I've got that last bit of air, and then I'm like, okay, deep breath. I'm making sure my dishwasher is sealed off really good because when I do this epoxy, the first coat ain't going to be so bad, but the last coat is a flood coat, so it absolutely has to go over the edges, and I don't want my cabinets or my dishwasher getting messed up. I don't want my floors getting messed up. I made a bunch of mistakes the last time I did this on my island we built. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it down below. Nothing teaches you like a really bad mess up, and so I had epoxy drop onto my brand new, well, like a year old or something. They're brand new to me, hardwood floors, and on my cabinets that I bought to build the island. So I knew I was not going to make that mistake again, so I was adamant on taping and plasticking off this entire area. I look like a wedding dress train because I did not want any of it to get on the floor. That's a good thing about me. If I make a mistake, I'm going to learn from it. I might forget about it and make the same mistake later on, but I'm going to learn from it in the moment. So today, I'm spending this evening seeing what I can get done. It's the afternoon. I've done all of my stuff I have to do for the day. School is finished. It's my free bunny ears free time. I ain't really got any free time ever, but it's a time in the day that I've made free for this specific thing. So it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I have all evening to get as much as I can done in this kitchen. 95% of our renovations or remodels are done on the weekends because that's when Shane and I are available to do it. But every now and then I can sneak a little evening, afternoon, something like that in there to get some stuff stuff done, and that's what I've done on this day. I've snuck in a whole afternoon to just work, and it's kind of going to be fun seeing how much I get done in a whole afternoon. That is if I ever stop playing in plastic. I'm trying to cut off a piece so that I can use some of it for the sink to cover and tape off the sink, and also use some of it for this area over here. The bad part is I cut off too small of a part for the sink, and I decided to use that part for this area of the countertop, which I don't know why, because if it's too small for the sink, it's too small for this countertop. But I used the smaller on this countertop and I used the bigger on the sink. It makes no sense. I literally had to bunch up all of it into the sink because it was too much. I don't know what I'm thinking. My hindsight is the only thing with common sense about me. Like, the hindsight is the only thing with common sense about me. I'm just going to continue to prep everything and tape it off, including the sink. And I'm going to make sure I do it good because I'm terrible with painter's tape. So there might be 50 layers on it, but it's going to be protected. left a sliver on the other side that I can't unsee now. Like I said, hindsight is the only thing about me that has common sense. I left that sliver and it's driving me bonkers right now. I didn't notice it when I went to do this. That's the thing about ADHD. You don't notice it until you go back and you watch yourself. Editing is so fun for me because I see stuff I miss all the time. I'm mixing this up really good because it's been sitting there and it looks like sweetened condensed milk. So I'm mixing it up with just a random piece of wood that I had no use for, that was kind of scrap wood. And then I'm going to pour it in my pan and I'm going to get to work on painting these countertops because they have been prepped, you know, without sanding. I should have sanded, but they've been cleaned basically and everything's taped off. So I'm going to get to painting. It takes quite a few coats for this countertop. I guess because it's so dark and because the texture, the paint just did not adhere as well as I thought it would. So I ended up doing 4 coats this evening. It's not ideal to do that many so fast, but I waited until they were dry completely, and then I went in and did a coat on top of it to keep this thing rolling. I love doing this method. This, what is it, caribou? I call it caribou. We call it caribou here, don't we? I love doing this caribou. I love the look of this caribou marble. I think it's Carabas or Carabas or Cababus or something like that. Cannabis, I don't know. I love the look of this caribou marble. And I was really excited to do this method again because I did a really good job on the island. I feel like it's one thing in the house I'm actually really proud of. I'm very, very hard on myself. Very hard on myself. I don't like a lot of things I come up with. I don't like a lot of things I do. I rethink myself a lot. So when it comes to something that I do that I actually really thoroughly love and enjoy, I'm so excited about it. So I'm really excited to do this to the countertops. I'm just really excited to get the kitchen done. I'm really excited to move to the next thing, which is like backsplash, cabinets, painting the cabinets, that kind of stuff. So while I was super excited to get creative again and to work on this hand-painted caribou marble again, I really just wanted to move it along and get it done because I'm just so excited about the whole kitchen in a whole. I'm excited about it all getting done because then I can go in and I can do seasonal decorating. That's my goal, is to get most, if not all, of this kitchen done by the time I decorate for fall, which is on September 1st. That's a big old goal. That's very ambitious of me, but that's what I'm hoping for anyway. This raw edge of the counter that you see here is going to be fixed. When Shane came home, he did like this little outline with wood. I think it was with the plywood, and it looks so good and so real. I didn't worry so much about the insides of the countertops where that go beside the stove because I know that you won't be able to see those, but I still wanted to make sure that they were there, they were painted, and they were sealed. Epoxy is considered a sealant if you Google it, but it's a lot different than something like poly because it's resin. It's like a resin type thing. So with poly, you have to sand in between coats of poly so that it grips onto each other, whereas epoxy just kind of makes a glass-like, plastic glass-like coating over the thing. So it coats it, but it doesn't necessarily have to adhere to it. It's really neat. I really prefer to work with it over anything. Remember at the beginning of this video when I told you I kept forgetting things with this project? For some reason, I forgot to fill the gap there where Shane built the edge. I meant to go in with the joint compound like I did on the island, and I completely forgot. I even had caulk sitting beside me, and I could have caulked it even, and I didn't. I completely forgot. This is the thing about ADHD that I told you guys. I watch back my videos while I'm editing, and I see so much that I miss while I'm in the zone. And I do that with like voices. People can be talking to me, and I do not hear it if I'm focused on something else. It's actually something I'm working on because I never want anybody to feel ignored around me. It's just my brain. It focuses on one thing, and I'm in the zone, and I don't see anything else around it. I just see that one thing. And even the thing that I'm working on, I don't see 100%. It's wild. My brain is a wild, wild thing. You can see here why I had to do so many coats of paint, because it just was not covering it. It was not covering it like I thought it would. So I ended up having to do so many coats of paint that I didn't think I would have to do on a countertop because it just wasn't taken to it. Even the second coat, you could see the dark countertop through the white paint. And it's really important with this marble look that I paint by hand that I have that clean white background. I'm already adding so much dimension, it can't already be dimensional, right? So I've got to make sure that it is completely covered and it's completely white. Literally, I have feet marks all over the place. What in the... Actually, I think those are Shane's, but I'm not gonna make him feel bad. I'm gonna say it was me. Don't mind me just following the footprint. Oh, man.
You should try to find yourself a bit stuck in the valley. They say never try to hide yourself, but I spent all of my money on California. Did I arrive too late? Did I make you wait? California. Now tell me where you...
They're back again, or either Holy Spirit has tennis shoes on. I don't know, but I literally just cleaned these up. I'm using this lacquer as a barrier between the white paint and the paint I'm about to put on top of it because I'm going to be smudging it around a lot, and I should have used another coat of this because honestly this one coat, this one sparse coat, didn't really do what I needed it to do like it did over on the island. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I used a couple of coats on this over on the island. I didn't do that this time, and you'll be able to tell here in a minute that it did make a huge difference, only using one coat versus the two, and that one being really sparse. I'm using the Waverly Chalk paint in mineral and steel. The same color combo I used over on the island to match them up. I'm using the rest of this sponge, the other half I used on the island when I did it, and then I'm going to use the rounded side of it to go in and dab the mineral paint. I use the mineral for the background color because I can phase it out and it fades really, really good, and then I can fade it out into the white to make the white sort of dingy so it doesn't look so clean cut, broken up. I like a lot of contrast, but for some reason in marble, the caribou marble, I do not like contrast. I don't like a harsh white line of background against the veining. So what I do is I just make one really big large area in a diagonal because that's usually the way that veining goes naturally, and then I staple it on there. I spray it with water, and I use the white towels that you can get at Lowe's in the box. I used that the last time, and I should have used that this time, but I didn't have any because this wet wash rag was not doing it. The wet wash rag paired with only one sparse coat of lacquer started giving me issues, and you can see here it started taking the paint right off of the counter. So I had to get creative and figure out a way I could kind of hide that, because as fast as I was trying to smudge, it was coming off in areas and it was not looking good. So I started using a damp old bra. This is one of my old sports bras that I wasn't going to wear anymore. I just put a little bit of water on it to make it damp, and I used it, and it worked better than the wet washcloth did, but it was still giving me some issues. Because I was afraid to smudge it like I needed to get it really phased out and stuff, it was leaving me with a grainy, like weird looking spongy. It looked like I had taken a sponge across the entire countertop is what it looked like, and that is not what I was going for. So I just continued to add the mineral color paint, and then I would go in with my white paint and I would kind of smudge it together. And I found out that once you mix the two and you kind of put more white with the mineral and you use the sponge to move it around, it looked a lot better. So that's what inevitably I did. I just used the sponge to move it around, and it made it less dramatic, and that's what I was was going for, because you don't want it so dramatic that the veining you do is kind of hidden by all that going on in the background. You don't want a very, very busy background. You just want a busy background. So I wanted it busy, but I didn't want it so busy that it would take away from the veining that I was about to do. I actually go ahead and do the veining prematurely here in a minute, and I have to go back over it and start all over again and do the whole thing over it, cover it with mineral paint and all that stuff, because I did the veining before I got it really smoothed out, and that was a bad idea, because if the background is not smoothed out before you do the veining, it's just not going to look right, and there's no way you can go in there and phase it out with the veining already there. Even the ghost veining that I do has to be done after I smooth out the whole background. Versus laminate makes a huge difference. So the laminate, I'm having trouble on. The wood is just like the wood was over here. I should have put a layer of wood over the laminate, but I don't know how that would work out, like stability wise in the long run. This is what we're looking like on the laminate. Not good at all. Kind of looks like a chocolate and vanilla soft serve swirl. This is what we're looking over here. It's better. I'm going to try to go through and just lightly do some color like through here. Just to add some more color. That's what I've been doing. So it's not so broken up. You know what I'm saying? Not so white and not so broken up. Yeah, see, I love that. Oh, that over there, man. I gotta work on this. We gotta work on this.
In your eyes, the ocean met the sky. Memories will never fade. They keep me going in eternity. I'm waiting for you, waiting here for you, aching for your loving arms. I walked by the place where you live.
All right, I came over here to the wooden one because the other one was stressing me out. I got my ghost lines with my detail brush, and now I'm just gonna go in with the feather. Y'all have seen all of this on the island, so I'm not gonna show any more of this until I get over to the laminate because that's new territory, as we know already. All right, got my veining done over here. What I learned from the island is I do like heavy veins. I like that heavy vein look, and there's too many bare spots in between on the island, so I kind of just made it all together, but then also left, you know, some white, big old white areas too. This is done with the ghost veining and the feather veining. Now, let's go have fun with this. So I mixed up the color steel with water, and I used my little detail brush to do the ghost veins, and then I just go in with the brush and kind of stipple them out to fade them. And then to do my big veins, I go in with the turkey feather, the same steel in the water mixture. The turkey feather just makes them more bold, it makes them bolder, and then it also looks less uniformed and more sporadic.
Strangers in every crowd. It takes so much not to shout your name out loud. I'll always be here for you, like the shore is always waiting for the sea. I'm waiting for you, waiting here for you, aching for your loving arms. Waiting for you, waiting here for you, aching for your loving arms.
I got these turkey feathers off of Amazon, and it really makes the entire look. You could do the same thing with a paintbrush, but the turkey feather just gives it more of a natural look, I guess you could say. But if you didn't have a turkey feather on hand, you could definitely just do it with a paintbrush and then just smudge it out with a different paintbrush. That's the best part about this kind of hand-painted marble countertop. You can mess up a ton. It does not take a lot of talent. If it did, I wouldn't be able to do it. I am not artistic in the least bit. That is all my husband. I can't make it. I can't draw a stick figure. I really cannot. I can't draw nothing. I'm not good at painting either. So if this comes easy and fun for me, it really can for anybody. You have so much leeway and so much space to make mistakes that there's really no stress involved in it unless something goes wrong, like with your base paint like mine did, where it was coming off of the countertop, or I didn't use enough lacquer. Those are only really the areas you can mess up with this. You really can just do whatever you want when it comes to the design of the veining and stuff.
From the heart, still believe the words you said.
It took a lot of sweat and tears, but we got it. Not to a point that is that, but whenever I get this epoxy on it, it's going to kind of like the island did. It's going to get like 3D, and it's going to really make the grain pop. That's exactly what happened to the island. So this is as good as this is going to get. I like it. There's nothing wrong with it. It just looks very heavy and broken up until I get the epoxy on. And then it looks 3D, like 3-dimensional, because look, see how there's a break here, much like over there, but with that epoxy, it smoothed everything out, and like it just looks like it's supposed to be that way. The epoxy is really the magic maker with this stuff. I'm excited to see what that over there looks like. The epoxy also gives it a warmer tint, because epoxy yellows over time, which is why I went with the color scheme that I went with. I went with a lot of neutrals, a lot of tans, because I knew that the epoxy was going to yellow anyway, and I didn't want it to look like I had tried to go super white, but the epoxy yellowed it over time. So I chose to go with the creamier beige. That way it looks like I meant to do it, if you know what I'm saying. So once I get the epoxy on here, it'll definitely look more neutral than the bright white. Also, that light isn't helping, but it's also going to look dimensional, and it's going to look like it's got some depth to it, because it does, girlfriends. It does. Your girl, you see all that sweat? I feel like I'm sweating bacon grease right now, but I ain't even eat bacon and I don't know how long. But your girl, I was about to say Bob Marley that. I didn't Bob Marley that. I Bob Ross that. That's what I did. I Bob Rossed it. And we got down and dirty, literally, with the paint and the paintbrush. So now, I'm gonna wait for that to dry. Still nighttime. It is actually 10:30. See, 10:30. We're gonna get the epoxy on tonight. Not the flood coat, but I'm at least gonna get epoxy on the first coat tonight. I got me a frazzle to keep me up. Girl is tired. I've been up since the butt crack of dawn. I get up at the butt crack of dawn during the week. Most of the time during the weekends too. I don't like to sleep late, do I, Shane? Drives me crazy to sleep late. But I'm determined to get this coat on here, finish up these, so we can move on to the cabinets and we can move on to the backsplash. Break, brace.
Move your hand.
Wait.
Move your hand.
I'm going to break freeze. Shake. Is that necessary? Ouch!
No, it goes over your nose.
Okay. Oh my gosh. So the faster we get this top coat on here, the faster we get it torched, the faster I can go to bed without a shower. I'll go to bed stinky tonight. I don't care. I'll just flop down like fish. Probably smell like one too. I don't care.
Ashwagandha!
Do you care if I go to bed stinky tonight?
No.
Are you going to bed stinky?
Yeah.
Oh! I promised you guys I would show you in detail what we do with the epoxy in the last video. This is the brand that I use. It's Promise brand. And this is the tabletop hardener. So this is A, B. Equal parts of both into this thing right here. Whatever you use, don't plan on reusing it because it ain't gonna happen. Once it's used, like, it's done. Unless you want to, like, I tried peeling out the epoxy out of my other Ace hardware bucket and it didn't work. Half and half of each of these, and then stirring for a good 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
Shane, what are you wearing? You are not messing up. Get it off. Get it off.
I'm not putting on a show right now.
One of our friends sent me that. Look, it even says where we get the daggone thing done. You ain't messing that up. Look, it even has the start of my YouTube channel. You ain't messing that up. Get it off. We're going to measure equal parts A and B, mix thoroughly for about 3 to 5 minutes, brush on seal coat. I'm just going to do it with my hands. And then once that's cured, I usually wait like 6 hours, 6 to 12 hours. I'm going to go in with the flood coat. And that's where you literally pour the coat and it just flows over the side. Right now I'm just moving it around. And then remove air bubbles. I don't actually think you need to remove air bubbles on the seal coat. Should you? We didn't last time.
That's what we did with the torch.
We didn't last time. You did that on the flood coat. Look it up.
Well, it says it after the flood coat.
Yeah.
So
and
it's not saying after brush.
And then cure for 72 hours. able to get so much done with the help of Shane at the end. I was able to get so much done during this day. Not even this day, this afternoon. During this afternoon, I was able to get the countertops completely done and the first epoxy coat on. I know it's not part of the same day, and everything was fighting me filming this because my batteries didn't charge right, so I'm doing this off my phone. I know it's not the same day as I was showing you guys, seeing what I could get done in that day, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the flood coat because I promised you guys I would show you that in the last video whenever I did this on the island. I didn't go into detail on the island, and I promised I would do it on these countertops. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix up half and half again, just like we did last night. I think we're going to do 24 ounces instead of 16 ounces because we need a lot for this. If I had a bigger bucket, I would pour more, but I don't have a bigger bucket, so we're just going to do 24 and then 24 and do 48 at a time. If we need to mix up more, we can, but we're going to mix it up for 35 minutes, same as last night. And then instead of pouring a little bit and me moving it with my hands, it's a flood coat. So we pour it so much that it starts to fall over the edges. And then I go in with my hands and I move it around just to make sure that there's a thick layer everywhere, because it's going to cause it, the flood coat causes it to settle. So it kind of evens out on its own. It's usually called self-evening epoxy, but sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. It did on half of the island, and the other half I kind of had to help it. But it's supposed to do that, so we're going to see how it does on a smaller surface, because this isn't near as big as the island, wide or long. Once I maneuver it around and we get the whole flood coat on and it starts coming over the sides, that's whenever Shane goes in with the torch and does a sweep motion over the top of it to pop the bubbles. And you do that 3 times, not too close, because
I don't want to fry the epoxy.
We don't want to fry the epoxy. I'm going to show all this in detail, though. Oh my gosh.
You know what it makes me think of?
What?
It looks like our skin when we used to have to sit in the back seat of those cars that used to have leather seats during the summer day.
Yeah. I'm just going to not do that finger.
Wow, you look like Dexter. Alright.
This is bad. It's as good as it's going to get. So, we made a little bit of a mistake. It's not...
Whoever wields this spoon, be he worthy, shall obtain the power of Thor!
I'm worthy. My little sword hole. Look at it. It's like hard as a rock.
Solid as a rock.
Show me all
Do you guys see how once you get that flood coat on, look, it's insane. It makes it so 3D, and I don't know how it does it, but wow, looks like a totally different, like Marina, put up a before shot here, before epoxy. The epoxy makes a world of difference. Like, it's in a totally different looking countertop. And that's what makes it look more authentic, is I think if you were just to paint on your countertops, it would look like everybody else's painted marble. Even if you put like something like poly on it or something like that. But the epoxy, there's something about the epoxy that, I mean, just makes it come to life. I will see you guys in the next part of this kitchen makeover. It's coming along. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you have a blessed morning and tonight, whatever it is, wherever you're at. Know that I love you, but Jesus loves you so much more. I will see y'all later. Y'all like my complimentary fly trap back there?